Hey guys, Karasuji here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Hades Shinkalion Destroy form from Shinkalion Change the World. This is the second evil train used by the leader of the Unknown, as well as a pair of assist trains that can transform and combine with it. Included in the set is several things: Hades Shinkalion, the vehicle modes of Orthros and Meniades, 2 sets of combination parts, 4 sword parts, and 4 effect parts. So, let's get started. First up, we'll take a look at Hades Shinkalion in trade mode. So, like with Phantom Shinkalion, this is not based on any existing Shinkansen in real life. Instead, it is an original design to the series. In this case, it's a pretty monstrous looking train, where it's done up in all of this nice metallic black. Got these silver flame patterns painted along the sides. The cockpit here, but also designs to make it look like it has a beastly face here with these nice pink eyes, as well as silver for the upper jaw of the sort of mouth section of the train. Something that is pretty different about this is that instead of, like most Shinkalion, that have a gray wheel well, in this case this uses a silver wheel well. Of course, rolls just fine, like with all other Shinkalion. This comes with a set of combination parts, which are done up mainly in purple, and to match up with the silver wheel wells, the parts that normally would be gray are, in this case, silver. And of course, you can just plug right here on the back. Next up, we'll look at Orthros and Meniades in vehicle mode. And I'm just going to be referring to these two collectively as Orthros and Meniades vehicle mode, because of the fact that these two aren't one-to-one the things that transform into the individual components. Rather, when these two transform, they switch around parts with each other to become their, what I'm going to call, beast modes in advance. So what we have here instead is the front car and back car. So here we have the front car of the vehicle mode, which has this kind of dog-like head, has blue eyes and blue stripes going along the side. Got the cockpit in here, has some claws going on the top, parts looking like wings off on the sides, as well as what will be waist armor right up top here. Once again, this does have silver wheel wells. There's also this piece for a further combination that can be attached back here for storage purposes, just like that. Then you have the back car with a smaller beast head, in this case with kind of reddish pink eyes as well as a red stripe going on the side. You see a lot more of the details, and it still has a cockpit there. Has these pieces with blue and red flames back here. And something we've yet to see on any of the Shinkalion thus far, which is a connector hook. Meaning we actually show off, finally, what it looks like when you link up two Shinkalion trains together. So basically you just take the hook and connect it into there. Should just clip on. And then they're connected to each other. So you can roll them back to back, you can swing them around. And they move quite smoothly to each other, which they kind of have to in order to roll along plow rail tracks. And to unhitch them, you just want to pull up and unlatch. After that, we'll get to the transformation for Hades Shinkalion. So, as usual, I've pre-prepped the arms and legs, meaning we only have to focus on the body. So to transform the body, you want to take the canopy, open it up, slide this hatch forward, then bring up this back panel, lower down the waist to lift up the head, rotate to the side, connect it in place, then close down the canopy. Straighten out the head and raise up horn on the back. Splay open the legs a little bit. Attach the legs and the arms. Then to complete it, I'm going to take these two flame sword parts, placing the blue one in the right hand and the red one in the left hand. And here we have Hades Shinkalion. So let's take a look. Starting off with the head, you can see it has a very evil, sinister look to it. A lot of purple. It's got these three horns to it. An interesting gold mouthpiece, and of course it compresses the chest down into the body. Got the patterns for the arms, torso, and legs. And it's armed with these two weapons, the blue AZURE Inferno and the red Crimson Inferno. And as a lot of you probably know, and for those who don't, this is named after Hades, the Lord of the Underworld in Greek mythology. And the only reason why I bring it up is because there is actually a Greek mythology theme to the set, which we'll get further into with the assist vehicles. Next up, we're going to transform Orthrus and Menades into their beast modes. So to start with the front car, I'll take off the wheel well, set that off to the side, and take it apart in several pieces. We're going to remove the head from here, remove these claws from here, and take off these wings from here. We're going to come in and split off this piece from the main body here, just like that. So when you get to this piece, coming down to the bottom, I'm going to take off these two lower pieces, like that. Will then allow us to take this piece and fold it out like this, and lower down will be the back legs. And take these pieces and place in these two holes, this part on the bottom, onto the sides of this piece. Then we can get to this side. Once again, we're going to discard the wheel well. And come in here, pull this off, pull off this piece, and lower down these. And so now we're ready to put them all together. So for Orthrus, we're going to take these two pieces and, using these joints, connect them together. We're going to come here to these pieces, make sure we have these golden tabs fold off the sides. Take these two heads and put them on either side. Now the way to tell which side goes on which is easily indicated by the colors of the flames. So put the one with the blue eyes onto this side, the one with the red eyes onto this side, then for Menades, I'll take these two pieces, use this port to connect to here, I'm going to take the wing pieces, fold them out, connect them to the two pegs on the sides, do the same thing on the other side. Then finally, take the claw pieces and attach them to the joints of the wings. So here we have Orthus and Meniades in beast mode. Now to show these two, I'll also kind of explain the mythology behind them. So we have Orthus. You can see it is a two-headed canine beast as based on Orthus of the same name, which was a two-headed beast who served as the cattle guard of the giant Geryon, and was the brother of Cerberus, the three-headed dog who guarded the underworld. You can see the two heads, one with blue eyes, one with red eyes. See the body coming along here with the legs and the tail. And there's actually a lot of articulation to this. You can move the heads, move them up and down on the necks. Mouths do open. Got some articulation at the legs. You can go forward and back. You can move the knees, move the ankles. The same thing for the back legs. The back waist does pivot a little bit. You also have some movement at the tail. And as an additional gimmick, you can see there are a couple of ports in the mouths. And so if you want, you can take the AZURE Inferno and Crimson Inferno and plug them into these ports in the mouths. So that it can basically breathe fire from the two heads. And here we have the bat-like Meniades, which is an interesting case as far as the mythology is based on. So in Greek mythology, the Meniades, plural, were a set of three princesses who, depending on which version of the myth you go by, either one or all three were turned into a bat/bats by the Greek god Hermes. And so this does some interesting tricks. Now what were, originally ports are instead here turned into the eyes, and you can see a little pair of bat ears back there. Has a pretty stocky body there, and you also have the nice wings with purple and silver, as well as the claws attached to it. The wings are articulated on these different joints. And there is movement down here, this part. But if you want to have it standing, it is, best to essentially have it so that the tips of the wing touch whatever surface that you're trying to balance it on. But after that, we can get to the destroy form. After that, bringing back in Hades Shinkalion, we can combine it with Orthus and Meniades. So for Orthus, we're actually going to just need a few of the pieces. We're going to take off these pieces from the back legs. Take off these pieces from the top. And take off this piece from the tail. Then for Meniades, basically all we need to do is detach the claws from the rest of the body. Also need to bring in the 4 small effect parts. Starting from the bottom, we're going to take these pieces, and with this connector facing the inner portion, we're going to attach them onto the feet. Same thing on the other side. We'll take these effect pieces with them facing like this. Make sure the blue is on this side and the red is on the other side. We'll place them into the peg holes on the shoe pieces. We'll take the shin armor, attaching this on one side, and this one on the other side. Coming to the hips, I'm going to take these other effect parts, peg them onto the sides, right here and here. Take this piece and attach it onto the waist. Take the claw pieces and peg them onto the arms. Then finally, we can take the wings, split them out a little bit. I'll take this piece, pull it out a little bit to about that point. Then plug it onto the back. And here we have Hades Shinkalion Destroy form. So let's take a closer look. Starting from top, we now see that the majority of Mini's body has become these big set of wings, and with these it does add some weight to the back, so it's recommended to make sure it's leaning at least a little bit forward to counteract that weight. Still is armed with the same weapons as before, but now also has these weapons on the side called the bident claws. This is also something that ties into Greek mythology, as a bident is basically a two-pronged spear, like a trident is three-pronged, and it's said that in Greek mythology Hades actually wielded one, so that does kind of tie back into Hades. You have the waist armor with the flames off the side, have more of the blue flames on one side and the red flames on the other. So just kind of keeping that theme alive throughout the whole thing. And this is essentially comparable to the air-to-vehicle gattais, or air-to-vehicle combinations rather, but done up in a more sinister manner. Additionally, because the Destroy form works basically in the same way as a vehicle combination, you can give Destroy form to any of your other Shinkalion, and Hades Shinkalion is also compatible with the air vehicles. So, as an example showing off, here we have Hades Shinkalion trailer form and Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa Destroy form, which is definitely a very big contrast, giving one of the heroic vehicles to one of the villains, and then giving the villain's combination to one of the heroic Shinkalion. And of course, there are a lot of other possibilities. Finally, instead of like normal, where I would show you guys an example of a Shinkalion SRG that you can make using the Shinkalion at hand, instead I'm going to show you a special combination between Hades Shinkalion and Phantom Shinkalion. Now, as you can see, I've already done a little bit of the transformation, as these are the steps that are similar to a normal SRG combination. So for this, we're going to be using Hades Shinkalion as the center of it, so got it like this, and make sure you have the hands here on the back. Meanwhile, Hades Shinkalion is going to make up the right arm and the right leg. For the right leg, it's pretty standard, but for the right arm, one thing to note is that you need to have both pieces sandwiched against the forearm instead of just one like normal. Which means we'll be focusing on how to transform Orthus and Meniades. So we're going to start off from Orthus. First off, you're going to take off these parts from the side. You have this piece from here. You're going to detach the heads. And detach the torso from the body. Okay, so do you believe you fold back that piece? You want to set it back like this. And once again, install these pieces. The other one over here. Actually, no, I've made a slight mistake. You actually do need to have this piece extended outwards. So then we're going to take these pieces from here and plug them into these slots here, making sure that the colored parts are on the outside. We're going to come around to the back and place this piece back here. I'm going to take this piece and plug it in down here. Tilt that off an angle. I'm going to take the solar panels for Phantom Shinkalion and use those as the heel supports. And that will create our left leg. Then for the left arm, going to come around to this piece, flip down this part, going to take the appropriate head and put it back into place. I'm going to take this piece and fold it back up. I'm going to take these pieces and sandwich them together and fold it like that. Make sure these are secured. I'm going to take the bident claws, plug them onto the sides here and here. Then use these connectors to plug it into here. Which gives us the left arm. Then we're going to come around to these pieces. First off, we're going to take the wings and plug them into the sides here and here. We're going to take this piece and plug it into the back here using this little connector. And we're going to take the blue-eyed head, fold out and disconnect the lower jaw, which we're going to, oh actually we need to plug this in before this. I'm going a little bit out of order, but you need to plug this in here. Then plug this one on here. And take this piece, pull it down, and it's going to plug into this here. Pull it up. And then we are ready to combine. So, I'll plug in the legs. Raise up a little bit. Plug in the arms. Come around to the back. Going to take this and plug it into the port on the back. Then lower this piece on top of the head for the main combination. And last thing we need to do is make the weapon. That is actually going to be using all of the weapon and effect parts from both Phantom Shinkalion and Hades Shinkalion. So, to start, we're going to take these three pieces, I'll plug them in like this. Then going to take this piece and, oh wait, no, that's not quite correct. Oh, rather, this is actually going to connect here. My mistake. Take this piece, put it up here. I'm going to plug this piece into the side right here. Plug this one onto the other side here. Those will connect these ones, the sides here and here. I'm going to then take this piece down here and plug the smaller flame effect pieces onto the sides. And because it's a little bit difficult, I will place that into the hand off screen. And here we have Chaos Shinkalion. So let's take a closer look. Now this is quite a pretty wild combination for how it does in a certain way replicate a Shinkalion SRG, but using only 2 Shinkalion plus a set of support vehicles. And you see this one actually does something a little bit different with the head, with now it has kind of this helmet on top of the head thanks to using this head attached to the backpack. And I will say that this does the whole wing pack in a better way than the destroy form because there's less space between where the back and wings are connected. So it does have a cleaner look to it. And while you have the standard arm, though it's holding this pretty massive spear weapon that is literally made up of all of the different clear parts, we then have this other arm that essentially has an energy cannon attached. And is also interesting for not being one that actually has any kind of proper hand to it. You have the standard waist structure, and then we'll have the standard leg. The leg made up of Orthrus and Menietes is definitely a little bit more wild and beastly and does have this sort of interesting unevenness to it. And yet, despite all that, despite the fact that it is entirely asymmetrical in its structure, it still does manage to hold up quite well, and it does still look like a very impressive and powerful combination. Though one thing to know about this is that whereas for these sets, most of the time you get all of the instructions, including the instruction booklet, in order to get the instructions to make Chaos Shinkalion, you have to scan a QR code on the back of the Hades Shinkalion box. So make sure that you hold on to that box for the QR code if you're going to get these two, and if you want to combine them into this combination. And there we go. So overall, this is an excellent set, and definitely one of the big ticket items for Shinkalion Change the World. This definitely has more pieces than any other set in the line, and does do things that no other set does. What with how it has these train-like vehicles that can kind of combine and transform into these two beasts, which is quite different than the air vehicles we've seen before. Not to mention, not only do we get the transformation and the combination into destroy form, but if you have Phantom Shinkalion, you can then get the amazing Chaos Shinkalion, which, like its name says, is definitely quite a chaotic combination. And getting this is probably the reason why I would justify getting Phantom Shinkalion, because then you can actually get that combination, although technically speaking you could use a different Shinkalion in its place, but if you want the show accurate combination, you would get that one. Now, of note is that this is essentially the opposite case of Phantom Shinkalion, whereas that one was only sold on its own with no other vehicles included. In this case, there is no individual release of just Phantom Shinkalion, and you only buy it as the destroy form set, thus it is the most expensive set. So if you're looking to buy this, I definitely try to look for a place that is selling it in Japanese yen, such as Amazon Japan, so that way you can at least make use of the currency exchange rate if you're buying from the US or somewhere else that has a stronger exchange rate than the yen, just to make it a little bit more affordable. Because if you were to buy it like in that country, if you lived there, or even try and buy it in USD, it might be a little bit more on the pricey side. But if you do get the set, I would definitely say it is well worth it. Next time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Gav phone. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KX50, writing off.